This week on D3 Live, we're going to be talking about the best places to purchase the iPad 2, as well as what's going on with the whole Sony versus geohot saga. So of course, earlier this week, Apple announced the brand new iPad 2, the successor to the very popular iPad. Now there's a lot to like about the iPad 2, and I'm sure that it's going to sell really well. However, they did kind of give a little bit of bad news as far as the fact that you cannot pre-order it. So if you do want to go ahead and purchase one this Friday on the release day, you're going to have to go stand in line in a variety of different places, or of course you can order it and wait a few days for it to come in for shipping. But I'm sure a lot of people want to get it on the release day. So there are a few different places that you can purchase it. Let me go ahead and roll you guys through it. So number one is going to be the Apple Store. Apple Store is probably going to be your best bet. Odds are they're going to have the widest selection. They're probably going to have the most inventory. So if you have an Apple Store in your area, it's not really a big deal to have to go find one. I definitely recommend try that first. Now the Apple Store is going to be opening at 5 o'clock this Friday, so do keep in mind that there's probably going to be a considerable line no matter any of these places, but so if you can get there a little bit early, it probably will help you out. So Apple Store is going to be the number one place to go. Now Best Buy is also going to be carrying it. Now I'm not entirely sure, they haven't announced as far as like when they're opening or anything like that, but I can't imagine that you'll be able to get it any sooner than at the Apple Store. So I'd probably expect 5 o'clock, same deal. They might have a little bit better deals or anything like that as far as like when they open and all that kind of stuff, but if you have a Best Buy, that's probably going to be your second best bet. Now your last option is going to be Walmart. Now this one is kind of a little bit sketchy. You're not probably going to be able to pick up the iPad at just any Walmart. Now they haven't announced what Walmarts or anything like that, so your best bet is to go call your local Walmart. If you don't have a Best Buy, you don't have an Apple Store near you, call your Walmart, see if they will be having it and all that kind of stuff, and see what times and all that kind of good stuff. But although on the other hand, there is one good thing. If you do purchase it at Walmart, you're going to save a whopping $1. So if you want to save that dollar, definitely check out Walmart. Now, something that's been on a lot of people's minds, been lots of talk and lots of speculation about it, is the whole Sony versus geohot legal battle. So if you're not familiar with it, geohot is a really well-known hacker. He's mostly known from the iPhone. He's hacked the original iPhone, jailbroken pretty much everything else since. He's a very talented hacker. Nobody can deny that. Well, recently he turned his attention to Sony and the PlayStation 3 when they removed other OS support, which of course was the support to allow you to install Linux on your PlayStation 3. Well, he took a look at it, not too much longer, he totally cracked the PlayStation 3 wide open. Now, obviously, as you might expect, Sony was not pleased with this whatsoever, and they decided to go ahead and sue geohot. Now, this really comes down to the fact of whether or not you actually own your video game console. So in the example of the iPhone, back in a couple of years ago when he first started jailbreaking it, Apple was very similar, although they never actually outright sued them, but they definitely were not happy with jailbreaking. However, recently with the DMCA, it has been rewritten slightly. It allowed actually that anybody can, you can modify jailbreak your mobile phone no problem at all, which made jailbreaking perfectly legal. However, a phone and a PlayStation, obviously a game console, are two very different things, and so it's kind of a little bit unclear of whether actually that is okay or not. And that's obviously what this whole court case is to decide, whether or not geohot was in the right or whether he was in the wrong. At any rate, I'm very curious to know what you guys think about this. So, do you support Sony? Do you support geohot? Are you somewhere in the middle? Definitely be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Okay, so for the second segment of D3 Live, I'm going to be taking live questions from the chat. As always, every episode of D3 Live is filmed in front of Blog TV, and we have well over 50 people in the room right now, so let's just take a couple of questions. What do I think Sony wants from geohot? I think Sony doesn't really want anything in particular. I think Sony mostly wants to scare people away from it. I mean, they've put down orders like to have the the jailbreak code removed, but that's way out of the bag. I mean, it's been copied a million times across the internet, so that's not going to happen. I don't really think that Sony really particularly wants to punish geohot. I mean, I don't really think that's going to accomplish anything. What Sony really wants to do is scare off other people. If they can win this, other hackers are going to think twice about trying to jailbreak or anything like that. As far as how effective it'll be, I've got no idea. I don't think it'll particularly be that helpful, but I think that's pretty much Sony's goal. Do I think the iPad will be jailbroken? Probably. The iPad's pretty much always jailbroken. Same with iPhone, iPod Touch. It's just a matter of time between how long it's going to be. So yeah, I wouldn't really worry about like if, but probably more like is it going to be like a week or a month or 2 months or whatever like that. Will I be getting an iPad 2? Most likely, yeah. I haven't 100% decided whether I'm going to get it now or later, but almost definitely I will be getting an iPad in the next month or so. So yeah, I'm planning on doing it. Do you think Apple will still try to do their best to stop jailbreaking? Yeah. Now that's the one thing is they have full rights to stop jailbreaking, because technically jailbreaking is, exploiting a security hole in the iPhone or the iPod or whatever like that, and actually, injecting code. Now, obviously, when people jailbreak, that's, you're doing it, you want that to happen and everything, but it's pretty much the same way as if, like I was on my Windows computer and I used a virus to change something. I mean, it's a little different than that, but yeah, pretty much Apple has the full rights to, close up the jailbreaking holes. That's no problem at all, and nobody really, is all that particularly mad. I mean, if Apple really wanted to stop jailbreaking, I think the best thing would do is just allow people to sideload apps like Cydia. I think that would do better than, just trying to crack down jailbreaking, which pretty much doesn't do anything. Why does jailbreaking slow down your device? This is a question I get a ton. The way to think of jailbreaking on an iPhone or an iPad or anything like that is basically imagine turning it into a PC. It's very similar as far as you can run programs, apps, tweaks, mods, all that kind of stuff. So, if you have your PC and you stripped all the programs and everything out of it and just ran it stock, it's going to be pretty fast. But as soon as you start, downloading programs and themes and all that kind of stuff, it's going to start slowing down. Well, it's the exact same way for your iPhone or your iPad. As you jailbreak and you install cool tweaks and themes and mods, all that kind of stuff, that's going to slow your device down. So jailbreaking itself really shouldn't slow it down, but as long as you just do it in moderation, don't download 50 themes and all that kind of stuff, just keep it kind of basic and keep it to the minimum amount that you can appreciate and all that kind of stuff, then you should be good to go. Anyway, guys, that's it for this week's episode of D3 Live. If you're interested in seeing more, you can always follow me. I will have a link in the description. You guys can check me out on Blog TV. I do this, of course, every Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see the fully edited versions a little bit later after I finish recording. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching.